and I make this burrito joke. That's literally the reason I got hired. The owner, after I got hired, he was like, yeah, you made that burrito joke. It really stuck with me. Really like that.
Wait, how did the joke even go?
I remember one of the other attorneys coming into my office and being like, hey, you want to go walk half a mile with me to get KFC? I really don't want to walk alone. And
I was just about to ask, like, would you ever, like, hang out with your professor like that?
yes, I have seen my professors at bars before.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Apartment 3A YouTube channel. How are y'all doing today? Welcome back to the show, This or That, where me and a couple friends, we just take a topic and just debate about it from all sides. And tonight's topic, we are going to be talking about, does the first impression always matter? This is something I kind of want to talk about for the longest time, and with me to talk about this topic, we got the original three for the This or That show. We got Sam, we got Caitlyn, we got Grant here. Say hello, guys.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
And joining in for Apartment 308 for the very first time, let's give it up for our buddy Alex. Say what's up, Alex.
What's good?
Yeah, thank you for joining on the show, bro. I'm the only one giving you hype here, bro.
I was like, what's good?
I was wooing.
I
Caitlyn's good at that. Woo!
Grant's been dreading this day.
What?
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 All right.
What?
Save the fighting until later
There's no
into the
fighting,
show.
Just love.
Too early for that.
It's too early for this. But yeah, anyways, guys, we're gonna be talking about does the first impression always matter, and we're gonna talk about times where it should matter, and maybe some other times it really shouldn't. So if you guys want to hear our take about that, make sure to subscribe to Apartment 308, like today's video, comment, share, and yeah.
Subscribe.
Hit that like button.
Hell yeah.
Not subscribe. Subscribe.
Sus amongst us? What?
Amongst us,
Wow.
yes.
Oh my god.
Subscribe. Anyways.
Alright, let's just jump into it. When do you think the first impression should matter? Like, in what scenarios should it matter?
Well, there's the pretty obvious ones: job interviews, professionally, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I remember when I applied to my internship last year. Like, Sam knows what's up, and I think I mentioned this too in the coworker episode of Let's Hang Out. What was it? Like, I didn't know what this company was about. I only knew that they were a media company that, main topic is like Korean culture. I went into the company like saying, okay, I thought, okay, I gotta act professional. I gotta act like there's like, straight back and all that shit. But then, next thing you know, I meet my boss. And next thing you know, my boss is like super like chill. And like she speaks my language. And like, hold the fuck up. Wait a second. This is my boss? Fuck yeah. And then same thing for my coworkers too. First impressions, I thought, okay, they're a little bit more my higher ups, but then I try to act professionally. And then next thing you know, a couple of them hit me up. It's like, we start talking about K-pop and shit. I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't feel right, but it does feel right.
This is wrong.
You know what? Fair enough. My job interview was actually pretty similar. I was super nervous because this was the first job interview I've had in a while. I haven't been job hunting. And everyone was super chill. They were, giving great vibes and all. And I make this burrito joke. That's literally the reason I got hired. The owner, after I got hired, he was like, yeah, you made that burrito joke. It really stuck with me. Really like that.
Wait, how did the joke even go?
It wasn't even that funny. Someone had a burrito next to their purse, and I was like, doesn't everyone have an emergency burrito with them?
I mean...
That's a pretty good joke, though.
You're not wrong.
Like, yeah, that was fucking funny. I like you.
You're not wrong, though.
I think it's hilarious.
So that's how I got my first job.
Actually, I want to ask you now, Sam, like, since you and I both worked at the same internship, but, like, in different branches, like, did you get, like, a weird first impression, too, when you first started working?
Oh, gosh. I was being business, Sam.
Business Sam.
Oh. Yeah. So I don't know. I had like I don't even know how to explain it. I was like a completely different personality. I like wrote notes and everything during the meetings, and I like, mind you, I never do that. Period. I, like,
Me neither.
Camera, I don't do anything.
Me neither.
Don't let your,
I, like,
you should
wrote
boss hear
notes,
this.
you know. I made presentations and stuff for like each week's like thing, and you couldn't even tell I was depressed. But
I know, but what?
little did they know.
But what kind of vibe
Um,
did you get from like our boss or like from your fellow coworkers though?
Oh God, what if they find this?
They won't.
They
They
might.
did. What does it matter?
You know, they're cool, but everything was fine. Everything's going fine. The coworkers are cool. They know a lot more than I did when I started, just because that was my first internship. And they're like talking about all these other like social media platform sites and stuff that I never knew about or whatever. I was like, I don't know what's going on. But the owners in general, like, they were nice, but towards the end, I don't know, they started telling me they were like disappointed in my work.
Damn.
And
That's brutal.
I don't want to call them out like that, but they literally told me that, and they kept telling me that. So
Shit.
I decided it was time to go, and I left 1 month early.
You're like, here's my 2 weeks notice, bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, listen, I have a job now, and if you can't accept that I have a job that actually pays me, then I'm gonna go. So,
Bye.
yeah, they wanted me to prioritize them, like, on top of family, on top of school, on top of work. Like, that was the number one thing. I was like, listen, I'm trying, but I have 5
Yeah.
other things to do. There's my complaint.
So for Alex and Grant, you two, like, do you guys have like something with first impressions about like a workplace or when it came to applying for a job or something?
Yeah, I definitely had a weird first interview experience when I graduated. I had an interview with this place. Well, I won't name the place, but it was kind of a big company. It would definitely like open up doors, and I had the interview, but I got a really bad. This is from my side. I got a really bad first impression from the lead engineer. So I was interviewed, not in a panel style. There was supposed to be a whole team there, but it was only the lead engineer, and there was another another person, and they were both like top of the food chain in their company. They were big deals. So I went into it very nervous, but I was very disappointed because my first impression from them was that they were unprepared. And
What
it
the
kind of just set the
fuck?
tone for the rest of the interview. Yeah. So I expected them to like come through with some good questions, some good interview questions, character questions, but it seemed like they just woke up. For example, you could hear gardeners in the lead engineer's backyard, and then for the other engineer, it sounded like he just came into his house. Like it sounded like he just opened or unlocked his door, and then he said, "Oh, sorry, I was just I was getting out of my car," and I was like, "What is this?" So it definitely like it gave me it was the worst first interview I could have had, and that set the tone for me because I was just like, "What am I doing here? Like this is supposed to be a big company, and it seems like they don't even care. Like I don't understand what's going on here." So they basically handed me the entire interview. They made me talk the entire time. They didn't really ask me questions, and it left a very bad taste in my mouth. And I was just like, I hope I never have to talk to them. And if you guys don't know about aerospace, the way it works, it's a very niche thing. So chances are you're gonna have to work with one of the big aerospace companies at some point. So I was just thinking like,
Ooh.
I really hope that I don't end up having to work with them in the future in whatever
Damn.
avenue. Yeah, but it was a horrible experience. I did not like it.
And of course this was all through Zoom, right? So
Yeah, this was through Zoom. It was called Cisco Connect or something like that. But it was a very bad first interview, very bad first impression. So I think like that whole, you should come prepared for your interview. I think that applies to employers as well, because the contrast between the interview I had with them compared to the place where I finally got an offer from was like night and day. Like the place I got an offer from, like the person that was interviewing me, he was the head of the entire division basically, and it had multiple divisions. He was in charge of like over 100 people. and he was actually asking me good questions like, oh, like, you know, what would you say to yourself if you could go back to your freshman year? And he would find some way to fit in my previous responses into his questions after that. So, you know, it was just, I think it goes both ways, that whole first impression kind of thing. But yeah.
Damn. Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't think a scenario like that could happen, but shit.
I didn't either.
I really do think that like both sides should be prepared. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
kind of that should be a given for them, you know? Like
Yeah.
that should.
Yeah, and I thought it was a given just because of the name of the company. I just thought, you know, like, this is a big company, like, this is going to be a legit interview. I expected them to, you know, come with some hard-hitting questions and generally just be more prepared. Like, this dude literally just walked out of his car, like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
Like,
could do the job better anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, it was whack.
All right, Grant. What about you? Have you ever had first impressions type shit happen in a workplace or a job interview before?
I mean, my work area is very similar to Alex's in the sense that it's very much everyone should have a pretty straight back and it's very down to business. But for the most part, I feel like every interview, especially within my field that I've went to, has been very much like very well done. Everyone came prepared. I will say that the first impression at like my last job was very different from how it ended up being. The first impression is like, I thought, oh, everyone here is like super on their shit. They know what's going on all the time. As compared to like my last week of work before COVID and stuff, it was like, I remember one of the other attorneys coming into my office and being like, hey, you want to go walk half a mile with me to get KFC? I really don't want to walk alone. And she was a fresh grad from one of the local law schools and was just like, she was hired on like 3 months ago, so she still should have been like in that area of, oh, I'm very strict with my work. Meanwhile, she would do this kind of stuff where she'd come into my office and be like, hey, I got these snacks. You want to just sit in here and eat while we're supposed to be writing our cases?
I mean, did you do it?
So, I mean, yeah. I did. There's a reason that I was doing casework at Caitlyn's apartment half the time.
Oh my
Because I
god.
didn't have enough time
Oh
to
my
work.
god.
Damn. So I guess like in a workplace, like of the first impression should matter, especially after hearing like Alex's case, where you know the freaking like the people that actually work there don't even know what the fuck's going on, or like don't have their shit prepared. So yeah. Another area I think first impressions may or may not, or most likely might matter. Probably when you first meet your professor at college.
Oh.
I have stories.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, let
A
me
lot of
tell
my
you.
professors hate me. Anyways.
Well,
They love me.
all right. Damn. Three of
my
y'all said
professors
something. All right. Let's
They
start
were
with
all
Alex.
notorious.
Oh, really? You had those professors?
I had two professors who were like the boss level professors in the entire engineering college, and they happened to be in my major. So my first impression of them was like, oh man, these guys are gonna be like so difficult. Like they're gonna be 100% super hard on us, not care about us. I was under the assumption that they were gonna be difficult because they didn't care about their students. But it ended up being different from that. The reason they were so hard, the classes were so hard, was because they did care about us. It was weird how that worked. Like, they gave us a lot more work than we expected, but they were doing it more out of like, you need to know this. Like, all of you need to know this. You need to be on top of your game, because one of them gave us an entire speech. You need to be on top of your game because you're competing with kids from all these other big name schools when in reality they're learning the same thing you are. But
Yeah.
they were notorious, but they ended up being my favorite professors, even though like they damn near failed me a few times.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. I kind of had that case too, Alex. Sorry that I'm going next, but I'm studying graphic design. At least by the time I'm recording this, like, there were like a couple professors out there. I was like, well, my story is, and I told I keep telling this, but I transferred from being a computer science major to a graphic design major because I hated computer science. Because I already got used to like my computer science teacher, so I'm like, okay, I don't know how the graphic design teachers are, so I'm just gonna act, kind of quiet, just kind of watch from a distance on how they act. And next thing you know, all the graphic design teachers, they're like, there's one specific teacher I remember. It was like the very 1st day of class. It was at 8 a.m. It was like, all right, good morning, guys. Fuck, it's so early in the morning. I'm like, okay. Oh, all right. I like this dude already. He said fuck. Yeah, and then yeah, what's so funny is that most of the graphic design teachers, they're like super like chill, and there was actually one other teacher too that I took a photography class for, but like the beginner one, and one of the assignments was like mess around with like aperture and shutter speed. So then I was like, shoot, what do I take a picture of? So I was like, I'll just grab one of my mangas here, just place it on the table, take a picture. I submitted that, and the manga, by the way, was Persona 5. As soon as I submitted that, my teacher replies to me is like, good job on the aperture and shutter speed, you're getting it. Also, I've been playing a lot of Persona 5 lately. I love this game. I'm like, wait a second.
Wait, hold up.
You speak my language? You speak the weeb?
I like how this always ends up like fitting into all your stories. It's like, and then they like what I liked.
Exactly. Although I did have this one teacher, and the first impression, it matched with everything else about her. She was just like a hard ass about like our designs. Like, she's not afraid to pull any punches. She'll say like, damn, this design is crap, I don't like it. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, shit, I looks like I have to freaking suck up to her to get my designs past her fucking gate. Shit.
But you need that, right? You need those kinds of people.
In a sense, yeah. It's like you said, Alex, that like there are those professors that will be a hard ass on you, but for good reason, because that is what the real world scenario is gonna be like. You can try to sugarcoat it as much as you can, but this is how the job is gonna be like in your future. Yeah.
It's just rough hearing it in the moment. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't need this. I want comfort. It's like, no, you're not getting that from me.
Alright, Sam, I heard you say you got some shit with the professor on first impression.
Oh, well, it wasn't just one.
Oh!
Ooh. I'm not going to say names because that's going to cause a lot of drama. So I'll just say, it's not like I even remember their names. That's how much I care about them. Sorry, guys. You gave me bad grades. I'm going to give you bad reviews on Rate My Professor.
Ooh, damn, she went all the way there.
I'm there and I'm coming back right now. I don't know. I guess I just have like a different... A lot of the professors have certain expectations for like projects, I guess. And I will follow the directions, but I tend to do my own kind of like thing. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like unexpected for them. Like they'll see other student stuff. They're like, wow, this is great. I love the way you did this, this, and this. And then they'll like see mine. They'll be like, okay, this is good. But, or they won't even say it's good. They'll just be like, okay, I'm confused. And I'm like, what did I do? So I think they just don't understand what I'm trying to express. I don't know. Me being me, I completely understand what I'm trying to express because it's my thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm too chaotic for them or something, so.
Damn.
Yeah, seems like I did have multiple professors comment on like some videos saying this is very chaotic, so yeah.
Shit. They don't understand art.
Well, yeah, apparently not. But yeah, I'll just end up barely passing the class, and at that point I'm happy, so I don't have to retake it again. I could still graduate on time, everyone's happy. And I'm out of their way, they're out of my way.
Grant's been kind of quiet, so let's ask him about the first impressions between him and the professor.
I mean, I generally have really good first impression, in my opinion.
In his opinion, he
Just
says.
don't know about their
I
end.
know Caitlyn would disagree, but I have wonderful first impression. But in an academic sense, I really do. I very much have a very different personality when it comes to academics and work, where I, for some reason, just really click with professors. I've had professors offer me research opportunities in the first week of lecture, but most importantly, the one I know I can't say his name, but he's like the director of my entire program
Oh.
at our university, and
Ooh.
this same person is the kind of person who I remember one time I came back from a conference in San Francisco, and the next week he was like, yeah, Grant's going to be a lawyer, but if that doesn't work out, he can always fail and be an author.
Oh.
But he
Ooh.
says that, and then at the same time, he's the same person who's giving me letters of recommendation for like scholarship in every other university that I've applied to.
What?
So I feel like we have a pretty good repertoire in the sense that if I was still on campus, I would have, when I got accepted to my university, I would have walked over to his office with a bottle of wine at 8 a.m. and said, "Hi, we're not going to lecture today because we're drinking."
I was just about to ask, like, would you ever like hang out with your professor like that?
Yes, I have seen my professors at bars before, and we've talked about it in lecture before, and they are wonderful people. I've had a rhetoric professor give me tips and hints for trivia night at a bar that was near our campus.
It's like that meme. It's kind of like that meme. It's like, you shouldn't be here, neither should you.
Okay, but she shouldn't have, because we left lecture at the same time to get to the same bar.
What the
so I know
fuck?
how quick she drove.
She's like, I gotta go. It's trivia night.
It's very important.
All right.
It is. It was very important. I was on my game. I would leave like lecture and already be parked in the lot closest, and I would have a friend waiting to like save my overnight parking spot at my my dormitory.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Caitlyn, what about you? Did you
Good
have
plan.
any? Did you have any first impressions for your professors, or like, did you try to put on a good impression?
Well, most of my professors are pretty chill. Yeah, usually I try to be polite to professors. There was this one who was like quite a hard ass. I don't think she deserves this was like a professor that a lot of students really hated. And the
Yikes.
fact that she was the only professor teaching this one class that is required for graduation.
Dang.
But I don't think she deserved the hate that she got. I think she was really trying to teach, and the material was really difficult. There's a lot of it. And it is a super important life skill. So I
Yeah.
really liked her. I still barely passed, but I very liked her.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing from like everyone's like perspective so far, it's just, when you try to put on the first good impression, it's usually with someone that's like a higher up, but you kind of expect their first impression to be like, oh, they are the higher up, they are someone I'm supposed to suck ass to, kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like you just kind of should expect that a higher standard for sure, especially if they're going to be someone that's like either teaching you, mentoring you, or even being your boss.
Yeah, and moving on a little bit, this is something I just thought of, but I don't know if this happens to you guys, but, for me, this happens to me a lot, where it's all like, you instantly can feel the vibe from someone without even talking to them. If you don't interact, it's like, if you see someone, but you're like, I'm getting a good vibe from him, maybe I should talk to this person, or I'm sensing a really bad vibe from this person, maybe I should keep my distance. Does that ever happen to you guys? Because it happens to me a lot.
Yeah, and it's mostly
Yeah,
with the
neither.
bad vibes.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I knew the first time that I saw Alex, I wanted to fight him.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird.
cap.
That's
When
cap.
That's
A lot
cap.
of people, when I was younger, I would usually hate before I became best friends with, so
Yeah,
that's how it went
Okay, but I
down.
still hate Alex.
Okay, Grant.
yeah, but to explain a little bit more on my end, I'll quickly say like a few stories. There was definitely a time well, Sam knows who I'm gonna talk about, but there's this like this one, there's this one
Oh.
specific girl in our Japanese class that I keep is like I see her around. She seems kind of talkative a lot, but for some reason, like I keep getting a bad vibe from her. Like something's telling me it's like she's not to be trusted. I'm like, so I kept my distance from that person, and then next thing you know, I hear a whole bunch of shit happen between her and some of the other international students. Like, yep. My gut was right. She is not to be trusted.
As your gut should be correct. What?
Yeah, and then
Anyways.
and then also too, it's all like I had like my freshman roommate. I didn't get like I got the vibe where he's all like, okay, he might be a nice person. He was a nice person, but I didn't expect him to like completely just disappear from the entirety of freshman year.
Oh.
Because we had a couple of like classes together in the beginning, but then after like one semester, he just completely disappeared. Like his shit was still in this room, and I'm like, where the fuck did he go?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so during that year, I had like an entire room to myself. I'm like, sweet. But also, who the fuck is this dude? Who has the audacity to miss this much in the semester?
Honestly.
I don't know. Does that happen for the rest of you guys?
Honestly, it's weird because I feel like I rarely meet people who give me bad vibes. But I feel like there's been times where I feel like someone has good vibes and then they turn out to be a complete
Oh.
yeah.
That's happened to me too.
Yeah. Like I had one roommate one year who I really thought they were a great they were a great friend and stuff. Like I totally enjoyed being around them, but oh my god. Like knowing the way they lived and the way they would act in the actual household, I was like, Jesus, I don't understand how you survive like on the daily.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. And it was that whole first impression was like, oh, they're a fun person to be around, and then it turned into, I don't want to be around this person.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mentioned it too, like, just quick plug. I did a Let's Hang Out episode too of, roommate stories of how me and my roommates first met each other, but we'll get into that later. Grant, did you always sense a vibe other than you want to beat up Alex?
I knew I wanted to hold his hand, but also like beat him up.
Alright, so that's great. So that's how Grant gets the vibe off of someone. It's either you beat them up or you hold their hand.
Why not both? ¿Por qué no los dos?
I just thought this.
I was gonna say, I feel like Grants towards me would be both, so.
Okay, legitimately, Alex, I don't know. I don't get vibes, really. I don't care, I guess. I've told Alex this all the time. I'm like a legitimate child.
Yes.
If it's not in front of me, I forget about things.
Yes. Yeah.
Works to your advantage and disadvantage at the same time.
Exactly.
Out of sight, out of mind.